And welcome. Let's take a look at our top story on this evening's edition of Today Tonight. The U.S. state of Georgia will hold a full by-hand recount of votes after repeated claims of voter fraud by the Trump campaign. The Secretary of State has promised to complete the recount process before the deadline of November the 20th. Now, earlier this week, the Trump campaign had demanded a by-hand recount of all votes in the state. The new plan is to conduct an audit, a recount and a recanvass all at once. Now, as things stand right now, Biden holds a 14,000 vote lead over Donald Trump in Georgia. The matters have been further complicated by the fact that the Secretary of State is declared Republican. Listen in to what he had to say a short while ago.
5 million votes cast. The margin being so close, it will require a full by-hand recount in each county. This will help build confidence. It will be an audit, a recount, and a recanvass all at once. It will be a heavy lift, but we will work with the counties to get this done in time for our state certification. Many of these workers will be working plenty of overtime.
We're being joined by international affairs expert Stephen Golub from California for more on this. Good evening. Thank you for being with us. Now, Georgia will recount all votes in the presidential race by hand. How long is this expected to take? And more importantly, what would it mean if the recount went in favor of the Republicans?
Well, it's important to emphasize this recount is, or an audit as they call it, is just a normal matter. When the election is close enough in a given state, in this case in Georgia, they automatically do a recount. It doesn't reflect any suspicions of fraud or anything like this. And in fact, it's important also to emphasize there's been absolutely no proof of any fraud in this state or any other states. In terms of how long it could take, certainly at least a matter of days. I don't think that's been made totally clear. And if in fact the recount involves or results in Donald Trump being declared the winner of that state's electoral votes, then it probably won't make a difference in terms of the total, in terms of Joe Biden being still the winner of the election, given that he's won Pennsylvania and is very, very likely to win a couple of states that are still up in the air, that the final determination of which remain to be decided, but are very, very strongly looking like they'll be pro-Biden.
Right, so this then, being a normal matter, does not mean that the instances of fraud have been found. Now, are there any other states where we are expecting a similar situation of a recount or an audit?
It's not clear yet because the rules vary from state to state, as in so many things in the United States. We're so unlike other countries in that our individual states determine crucial rules for elections. But there's the possibility, I believe, in Wisconsin, which was decided by about 20 or 25,000 votes. There's the possibility in other states, but that hasn't been reported on yet in depth. The chances are, again, I want to emphasize, is that the very strong chances are that Joe Biden will come out on top in Georgia and in any other states where there's a recount, because these recounts are just odd things done automatically, and recounts historically have turned up maybe a reversal of dozens or perhaps hundreds of votes due to various errors and the like, rather than the 14,000 in Georgia and even more of a margin in other states.
Right, Stephen, take us through the process. What exactly does a by-hand recount mean?
Well, I'll take you through. It means some of these votes were tabulated by machine, and this is to actually scrutinize in person, election workers, state employees, well supervised, going through it step by step. So it's a fairly simple, it's a lengthy process because of the number of ballots involved. It can be lengthy, but it's a relatively simple process. I do want to get back to a much bigger point here, if you'll allow me, in that what's going on in the United States that's very serious goes beyond this recount in Georgia. It goes to Donald Trump challenging the legitimacy of Joe Biden's win, which is really unprecedented in the United States, except maybe for our election of 1800, way back when. And that is really undermining a fundamental, a core principle of democracy, which is that a loser agrees that the winner will take over and graciously hands over. And this peaceful transition of power, a recognition of a peaceful transition of power, is fundamental to democracy. Donald Trump is undermining that.
Absolutely. We have just seen Mr. Trump make his first appearance on Remembrance Day, laying a wreath at the memorial of the unknown soldier. Have you got any details on his next public address?
No, I'm sorry. I don't know. With Donald Trump, you never know. He could pop up in the middle of this broadcast with some announcement from the White House or maybe some tweet. But as of now, as far as I know, there are no public appearances scheduled.
Stephen, thank you very much for joining us for all the latest there coming from California.